How do you get up in the morning and put your pants on? Where do you put the pants on? I'll explain it to you someday. How do you do it? How do you get up? How do you do it? How can you want to do with what you do? They're after you. They're after you. These horrible human beings are after you all the time.
Hey, welcome back. It's the 16th episode of the 38th Parallel. I am the Huppetarian, and with me as always is the one, the only, I think at least, Alan Mosley. What's going on, man? How are you doing?
If I had known you were going to do that as an intro, I would have walked off camera so that it was just an empty chair. And I'll tell you what, coming up on a 3-day Memorial Day weekend, you want to know who won't be getting up and putting their pants on? It's this guy.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
White boy summer.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. But let's be honest. Every summer's white boy summer. Where have you guys been? This is America.
I mean, it's not black boy summer, right?
Yeah, it never. Are you kidding me?
Right.
And so for you, I guess you would get you get August 15th through September 30th.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
That's more than some people only get one prideful month. You get.
Well, there's was it Asian Pacific Islander month, which was
what month is that?
I think it's this month, isn't it? Isn't it May? I think I don't even know. I don't keep track.
That's news to me, buddy. But hey, I hope you had a good Asian Pacific Islander month.
No. But anyway, speaking of,
oh my God, it is.
Yeah, see,
it's Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Yep, and then next month, that's when the real big boys come out.
Mm-hmm.
Next month is a Gay Pride Month, where men get to hang out and talk about how much they love sucking and fucking each other.
Jesus Christ. Nico, I'm so sorry.
She's not paying attention.
Okay.
She's in her cage right now, so it's fine.
Okay. Right. Well, that's not very nice for Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, but that's just me.
Heritage is the main term. That's the main word that you're forgetting.
No, you're right. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That is true. So it's actually a throwback month.
There you go. See?
Okay. All right. My bad.
Yeah. But anyway, so how was the 6th annual It's Too Late live event? How'd that go?
Oh man. I tell you what,
how are you still alive after that?
In hindsight, well, I can't just dive into the whole thing because we could do the whole episode on just the whole event weekend, because the event weekend has now become Wednesday night through Monday at noon is now the weekend of the event.
Gosh.
Yeah. But it was, I tell you what, in hindsight, because we moved the date, the last couple of years, it was the first weekend in June. And before that, it coincided with every 50th episode. So it was actually in the middle of March, and we moved it to June because it'd just be nicer weather. And then this year we moved it to this past weekend because we were trying to get it out of June but also then it can't be Memorial Day weekend. So it was one more weekend before that.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I think that was a really, really good decision. And I'll tell you why. Because I worked last week through Wednesday and then entertained company or had actual scheduled activities with the group from every minute from Wednesday night through Monday at lunchtime. And I went back to work. So I went back to work this week and worked the rest of the week through today. But I've just been in pain the whole time because it's a double whammy of the pain that you just generally have of getting back into work and getting back into a schedule, but also that it's not like I took 4 or 5 days off to relax by the beach. I was just go the whole, I woke up early every morning to get to something. I stayed up super late every night. And I used to, I'll be honest, I used to kind of make fun of people who used to say things like, "Oh, it drains my social batteries." I'm like, you faggot, just learn to talk to people, that you won't be so tired, you know.
And then lo and behold,
Then lo and behold, now I'm the faggot. Yeah. Well, the thing is okay. All right. Listen. Oh, hold on. In my defense, so when you have a lot of different people coming from all over the country and they're all gathering in the same weekend, I want to have at least a little bit of time set aside for each and every, like, at least party of people, like every different carload or person or family or whatever. Because it's
yeah,
like, for these people, they're traveling here, right? Like, I'm just traveling from my upstairs to my downstairs. They're traveling from, oh my gosh. So we had ended up being like New Mexico, Utah, Washington State, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, Alabama, obviously Tennessee,
yeah.
Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana,
Hmm.
Illinois, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, uh, New York, and I feel like I'm still forgetting one. But at least that many states were represented over the weekend from people that traveled here.
Wow.
And so I'm trying to at least spend at least a little bit of private time with each group of people to say, "Oh, how have you been?
Mhm.
How's the family? How are you doing? I hope you," because you know what, the thing that really stress, because I'm stressed the whole time, and it's like you try to tell yourself, don't be stressed, just live in the moment, enjoy people's company, but it's hard not to be stressed. And I'll tell you, I think I finally realized that the reason I'm so stressed is that I genuinely want everyone to have a good time, because what I don't want people to come and then leave and then feel like it was a waste. Like, I feel, because, like, I look, times are tough, and inflation and cost of living going up, and like, and so people are spending their hard-earned money and taking off of work. For me, that's the biggest part. It isn't even the money spent. It's just I didn't work a few days, so I'm like, oh shit, my next paycheck's going to be like $12.
Yeah.
So I know that a bunch, and those people are traveling from further away and staying in hotels and Airbnbs and eating out every night. And so it's like, man, for these people who are spending their time and money to come visit, I really hope they feel like it was worth it to make the trip, that they really got something valuable out of it, that they really enjoyed my home here in Tennessee, and also
Yeah.
enjoyed each other's company. And I haven't had anyone complain yet, but that's certainly what I'm stressed about. So I'm trying to make it a special weekend for everybody. And then sure enough, when the weekend's over, I'm still sitting here thinking, man, I only talked to so and so for like 10 minutes, or oh man, I only sat down at their table for like 5 minutes to say, hey, how's the food? And then I was off to the next thing. Now I feel bad because I was like, or oh man, Joe Bob was here. I really would have liked to have had a few more minutes to talk to Joe Bob, but I just, you get all swept up in the chaos of everything.
Yeah.
And
Trying to
some
make sure
people,
everything's running smoothly and all that.
well, and some people come early and leave late, which is great, but some people come
Yeah.
early and then have to leave early, and some people arrive late and they miss the first half, and so you got people coming from all sorts of different. Some people flew, some people drove,
Hmm.
some people stayed in hotels, some people stayed in Airbnbs together, some people stayed actually a little bit out of town or in Nashville and drove in. Some people just drove in that day. Some people who actually live, like, say within 6 or 8 hours, they actually drove in the day of, and
That's
then we're
cool.
gone the next day, which I appreciate. But again, it's like, like, I'm here for 15 minutes. Oh, hey guys, shaking hands. Like, okay, all right, see you later. So I am incredibly grateful to everybody who makes such poor life choices as to spend a weekend with me at their expense. Like, let's be fair, they're spending a weekend with me at their expense, on top of donating me a few dollars to keep on being an internet retard. Um, and so I feel like the only right thing for me to do is to be an even bigger retard this year, so that next year's live event will be even more desperate.
Do you feel that from the first one to now, it's definitely grown
Oh
bigger
yeah.
and bigger, right?
Oh
So now
yeah.
with the next one, you're probably gonna assume, like, I don't know, maybe like 100 people came this time, just as an example.
Mhm.
The next one, you're probably expecting maybe 150 to 200, almost double, maybe, right?
Well, we've already got a venue for next year's live event, and it actually can comfortably seat like with round like banquet tables, like round tables and chairs and linens with an actual stage for us to perform the live show. It can comfortably seat like 120, 130-ish people. So if we have more than that, then it's like standing room only type of a situation. But this year was an all-time new record for attendance, which was actually frightening because on the night because we had our last second venue change, and we changed it to everyone's favorite Mexican restaurant, Ponchos, and our reservation was only for like 40, 45 people. So when like 80 people showed up, Ponchos was like, we can't physically have your whole party seated on the patio because it's like we were already 15 people over the limit as far as the fire marshal's concerned, and we were willing to like turn a blind eye to it, but we can't turn a blind eye to 50% more. And so those amazing people, listen to this. I want to brag on them. I know that most of our viewers are like not in the Middle Tennessee area. But I got to tell you, so Ponchos is a restaurant I've been going to here in Columbia. It's the best Mexican restaurant in the world. It's actually run by Mexicans, so that's one way you know.
Sweet.
Yeah. And by the way, every Mexican food snob I've ever had in our group that came here was like, okay, yeah, you were right. It's legit. So these people, we show up with double our party reservation, and they had already blocked out the whole patio on the left side of the restaurant, which was only for like half the party. And they were like, well, we can't put any more people out there. It's against the law. And so what we'll do is we'll just block off the other side of the restaurant for your party. So everyone after like the first 35, 40, we've already blocked off. Like there's a divider wall, and there's the other third, like there's the middle third, which was for the normies. There was the left third that we totally took over. And then there was the right third that we also totally took over. And then how about this? So not only did they accommodate all of these, to be fair, just racist, just socially awkward, financially dubious people. But then I was thinking, because I'm just looking at the ticket price on the menu and I'm looking at our party size, and I had already kind of figured in my head, this is going to cost me like $1,300. I was thinking like $1,250 is probably what it'll cost me before a tip. And I'm going to have to leave a very healthy tip. Yeah. Or they're going to charge me a pretty decent gratuity, like 25% or something.
You pay them in pesos?
No, they won't take that because they're smart. Actually, I don't know if they'll take that or not. I'm assuming no, but I don't know. I'll put it to you this way: when they're taking dollars and sending it home, I'm pretty sure they don't want pesos.
Good point.
So anyway, I had already figured in my head, this is going to cost me like $1,250. I'm never going to financially recover from this. It's going to be so awkward when everyone is asked to pay for their meal because I left. Well, they come to bring me the ticket, and they charged me $719.
Wow.
So they accommodated our overbooking, and then gave me, and then instead of charging like an enormous gratuity, they gave me like a 30% discount.
Damn.
How about that?
That's cool, man. That's awesome.
I almost teared up. I was like, I can't believe that they would do that. Now, keep in mind, I've been going there like every week for 15 years, mind you, but I couldn't believe they would do that for us. And so, and hats off to our people, which we know we're the remnant. We have found each other. This is our people. Our people treated them very well. I mean, there was like 20s and 50s just all over the tables, just saying, here, you guys are great. Thank you for taking care of us.
That's cool.
And so I think it was a win-win, but they went above and beyond. And that was not the only situation like that over the weekend. Basically everywhere we went, we went to predominantly locally owned like places, and everybody was amazing. Everybody that came was amazing. The Confederate Museum which everyone, there was still people that showed up thinking that it was all a big scam and a joke. No, we went on the tour of Elm Springs, and then we went to the Confederate Museum, and everyone was like, wow, this is really neat.
And
I was like, I know.
Now everyone's a Confederate officer, right?
Well, I will have you know, Shane, that of the like, because that was Friday afternoon, so that was like maybe 2/3 of the total party had arrived by Friday for that part of the event. I would say of like the 50-ish group folks that came, and families, children, whatever, I'd say we got about 16 of our Yankee friends to buy Confederate flags to take home with them.
Oh,
so
there you go.
now they're going to have some explaining to do when they get home with those, but that's not my part. We're doing our job around here. We're spreading the message.
There you go.
So that was and then we went to the zoo with the lemurs and the sloth and the kangaroos. Everybody had a blast. The kids in particular had a lot of fun. I can say that I've pet a sloth now and held the egg of a velociraptor, and the lemur held my, like, because they have their itty bitty hands, so they held my finger like a baby and gnawed on my thumb for like 20 minutes. Yeah, so I don't want to brag or anything, but a lemur gnawed on my thumb for 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty dope. We finally got the It's Too Late picture I've been trying to get for years now, where myself and every producer who has ever served on the show were all in the same picture. So we did that. So me, Blake, Sherry, and Dave were all photographed together. Yeah, well, for Dave, it's like looking into the future. It's like, look, when you're done, you're gonna go have a farm with goats. And yeah. And he always said, "Tell me about the rabbits again, Alan," before I shoot him in the back of the head. Yeah. So, oh man, but and I mean, and I don't mean this in a bad way at all, because I would, if we could do it again this weekend, I would. I already miss everybody, but yes, it is exhausting. It is exhausting to go all the places, do all the things, stay up late every single night, try to have like meaningful, constructive time with every single person you possibly can. But that's what it's all about. I can confidently say if we've accomplished anything in our September 1st will be 7 years. If we've accomplished anything in our 7 years of doing what we do, it's finding these people that are so crazy that once a year we'll get together for a little reunion. So, yeah. What event was this? God, if I know. It was the 6th annual. I would do the thing, but it's gone. It's over. So it was the 6th annual It's Too Late live show. I think, and I tell you what, I think we actually have had people saying, "Are you guys already planning for next year?" And so the short answer is Jesus Christ. And the longer answer is I think that this weekend is the best weekend, because the weather was good. It was a little rainy, but it didn't rain. It didn't downpour whenever we were having activities. It just kind of rained in the evenings and mornings and stuff. But the weather was nice. It was shorts and t-shirt weather, but not crazy hot and humid, because our Yankee snow people would just melt if it were 100 degrees here. But the weather was nice,
right?
Yeah. And the fact that, like I said, it's the week before Memorial Day, so you have that like 3 to 4 day weekend of activities and fun, and then you only have to struggle through 1 week of work, and then you're going to have another 3-day weekend to kind of cope, to kind of recuperate from the whole thing. So that's where I am right now. I'm just completely wired for this show that we're doing. And as soon as we're done, I'm going to go into a coma for at least 48 hours. I haven't stopped. Like, I'm still on the go from then. But I think that we're going to, I actually seriously thinking that we've already decided as our little like planning committee that we're going to do the same weekend next year, because it seemed like it, for the most part, it worked for the most. Like, you can't, if you have totally different people with totally different lifestyles and schedules, it's hard to make everybody happy and find a time that works for everybody. But I think the largest number of people were okay with that date for a variety of reasons, and then for weather reasons, for holiday reasons. I think it's a good. So I think I think it's actually next year. It actually will be Saturday, May 17th, 2025.
Cool.
I haven't made the website yet, but I actually think that's what it's going to be. And so, you know, I actually told some people earlier tonight, I'll put the site up this weekend and they'll just already start selling tickets. The only downside will be is that if people actually do buy tickets, dude, I'm going to have already spent their fucking money long before the actual event gets here. And then I'm not going to have any money for the event.
Like, where all the money goes? I already spent it. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it's going to be like $1,500 in catering, and I'm going to have spent every dime of that already on just bullshit. I'm going to, you know. So I don't know. I'll have to like put it in a separate account or something if we do that. But that's what I'm thinking the event's going to be. It'll be very similar, like in terms of like the places we go and the things we do over the course of like a 3.5 day stretch will be a very similar schedule, but it'll still culminate with the big event Saturday night. But it will be at the 120 seat like actual venue. And so that'll be one big difference from this year. But the other things will be roughly the same. I think I probably need to raise the ticket price though.
Yeah. Like
well, you know, the thing. Yeah. An extra $1. Well, you know, the thing is that like if I thought we could raise enough money to cover expenses and actually raise money for the fundraiser without doing tickets, I that's what I would do. I would just be like, well, we'll just rely on donations completely, and then the tickets will be free. The problem is we did that once. We did that a couple of years ago, and what always ends up happening is like a dozen people wind up paying for another 50 people's like event, because there will be. And I imagine that's probably pretty accurate of like the population. If you look at nonprofits and other people who do things like that, there's always going to be like that one out of every 10 or 12 people that they'll put down $100 bill when they don't have to. And then the next 10 people will pay like $1, and then the next person will pay 50. And then the next 10 people will pay $1 or just walk in. Yeah. So that you get a lot of that. That it's not that it bothers me, because I want more people to come. I want people to come because more people makes it more fun. But we have been very blessed that we've had a number of people I can literally count on one hand that have paid just between them like half the cost of the whole event. And I can't tell you how grateful I am to them. A couple of them in particular actually want to remain anonymous, and so I won't say who they are, but they know that they are loved. But
you're welcome.
Thanks. So those 4 people pay for half of the event, and then the other 96 of you pay for the other half of the event.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm not I'm not naming
fair
names.
And balanced.
Yeah. Look, it is what it is, you know. So,
but yeah, I understand having to sell tickets or whatever, because, you know, it like you were saying, it's been draining, and especially financially. So you have to kind of make up all the money that you're putting into it. So those tickets, the ticket prices and all that kind of goes towards, well, we can do this again next year, because if people are just giving up $1, what's $1 going to do? That's $100. Well, that's not going to help me with the next year. I might not even be able to do one next year. If you want to keep doing this, you got to pay for it. I'm sorry.
I mean, keep in mind, I'm actually trying to come out ahead, because the whole point of the event is to raise money for the show. So like if we are going to get new lights or a new camera or whatever upgrades, it would come from the event. So if I raise, you know, $2,000 for the event, and then I end up spending $2,079 on the event, then my fundraiser was negative $79.
Right.
I've been there before too. And like this year, for instance, since we did have the last second schedule change with the venue, I was like, well, the least I can do is since we're moving the night activity of Saturday to a restaurant, I'll I'll take care of it. I'll buy everybody's dinner that night. And of course, then what night is it that like all 75 people show up? Of course, it's Alan's paying tonight. So anyway, I'll take a margarita.
The most expensive item on the menu.
Yeah. Oh no, with steak, please. Thank you. Yeah,
Oh.
not chicken. So no, it was fine. I couldn't be happier with how everything turned out, especially considering the circumstances. Next year will be even bigger and better. So I can't wait.
Man.
I got a bunch of gifts as well. People that
Ooh.
brought stuff for me. Actually have it over here. So I got this.
Oh,
Yeah. So this has got to go up in my house somewhere.
that looks cool.
Yeah. This is actually a ceramic sign that was made by a ceramic company in Erie, Pennsylvania, which means they probably have some explaining to do
Yeah.
up there. But it's really cool. I'm going to put it up in my house. I had my farm people brought me an absolute crap ton of eggs and meat. My freezer is stuffed full of like ground beef.
I mean, what else do you
pork
need?
and sausage, beef
awesome.
ribs. And then I've got like 90 eggs in my fridge right now, straight from the farm. It's nothing but eggs for the next couple weeks here at the house.
Saved yourself like $50 right there.
Yeah.
Probably more than that.
I got another one of these to add to the collection. So
it's a circle.
Yeah. Someone brought me a metal circle. It's really weird. Yeah. So got my 1 ounce piece of silver here to add to the collection with the other ones that people have brought me. I actually told the guy this year, I was like, well, actually some other people brought some. So I think for yours, since yours is extra nice, I'm just going to scratch up one side so we can start deciding who lives and dies.
Ah, there you go. Two-Face. Perfect.
Yeah. I need a Two-Face
Nice.
coin. This would make a perfect Two-Face coin. You know, you can always tell the real ones because they have some heft to them.
Yeah.
Like it's actually a little bit difficult to flip with your thumb because it's kind of heavy. It's great for spinning though.
It's like the Super Bowl coin.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just a 1 ounce silver. Oh, there we go. 1 ounce silver.
Nice.
So yeah, somebody brought me that. Somebody brought me a case of Pepsi Peeps.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're not welcome back. Yeah, I know. Everybody's being a joker. Yeah. No, it was good. I actually opened that case and got one for me and got one for Dave and got one for our mod Aaron. So anyway, yeah, there's a million other little stories I could tell, but I think we're going to relegate those to you just had to be there.
Yeah, we could talk about it off the air, and so I'll be the one who knows, maybe, if we have time.
Yeah.
Until before you go into a coma.
Yeah. Well, next year you guys just have to come. So
I was just about to say I was going to do the whole. I'm not going to make any promises, but we're going to try and be there, and then
yeah,
not show up.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Very fortunately for us, because you have those every year. There's always those people who say they're going to come, and then they don't. That's the one good thing, by the way, about selling tickets is that if they buy a ticket and then don't show up, it's like, well, at least my consolation prize is I got your money and now I don't have to buy you dinner. But I don't think we had two. We had two people who bought tickets, were expected to be in attendance. One in particular actually had a couple of things for them and they were not able to make it, which sucks, just last minute thing. But I mean, 2 out of like 70 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Everybody else made it and we're on time. And, thankfully no flights delayed. You remember if the event had been a week earlier, they would have all come in during a tornado. So that would have been pretty sick, actually. But for those who are not psychopaths, I'm sure they would have preferred to not experience that. So it was awesome. I had no complaints. Everybody had an awesome time. I'm so happy they did. We also try to segregate the southern audience versus the northern audience, particularly when we're visiting the Confederate Museum. So we did that. But it's good. It's awesome. It's awesome to meet people from different places, and yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad everything worked out, and like I said, we'll see what happens for next year for us personally. We'll
Mhm.
see. I'm not going to make any promises, but yeah.
Well, the obvious answer is if y'all just moved to Tennessee, then you only have to drive
Well,
in that
yeah,
afternoon.
that's the thing. If we just move there, perfect. But
Mhm.
we don't
Yeah.
live there at the moment.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I have had a couple of people say, "Hey, have you thought about like having like the annual event at different places?" And my answer is no.
I was just thinking about that. It'd be hilarious if one of these years you're just going to be, let's do it in Washington, D.C. Like some other event that's happening right now in D.C.
Yeah.
Why don't you do it at the same time? Why not?
Yeah, the 7th annual It's Too Late live show is going to be next year in DC with the theme Be Ungovernable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be ungovernable while you're also talking about bylaws or whatever the fuck you're doing over there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Hey, that wasn't in your list of things to
No,
talk
I'm
about.
sorry.
Yeah.
It was just a little jab. I'm sorry.
So no,
I had
thank
to
you.
put it in there. I apologize.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I had to poke it in there. Anyway, but speaking of a news topic that was on my list, and it's
Mhm.
actually the title of the episode, Buffalo Wild Wings, your favorite restaurant, Buffalo Wild Wings, that we talked about before, where you just completely lambasted them, which is just completely uncalled for. But yeah, so Red Lobster, if you don't know, Red Lobster filed for bankruptcy because they had this little deal. I think it was something to do with endless shrimp or something like that. Like you get some endless shrimp, and apparently, I'm not saying this, but apparently a lot of people were saying that. Well, a lot of people that are doing that deal, guess what? The blacks really love free shrimp, so they're the ones that were doing all that. So you could thank them for bankrupting Red Lobster. Now Buffalo Wild Wings, I guess they want to follow in those footsteps. Who better? What better audience to go to Buffalo Wild Wings than the aforementioned group of people that I mentioned? So apparently it's like say there's 4 people, only one person can do that endless wings and fries.
So I just want to say, my good friend Dave Benner, who
Yeah.
actually is in DC right now at said convention, he and I did go to Red Lobster for endless shrimp like 2 or 3 times. Yeah. And
Wow.
I tell you what, that dude can put back some fucking shrimp too. Like for me, it was like this is an opportunity to like try one dish of each different one they have, but then it's like,
Yeah.
well, then you zero in on what your favorite is. And so for me, it was like, oh yeah, the garlic shrimp. That was my favorite. So I was like, yeah, let's just, well, because the thing is that all the places that ever do those types of deals, they always they always bring it in smaller portions because they're trying to portion it out so that you hit the wall and then they're not like throwing away like a half a pound of cold food, and so yeah, Dave loves Red Lobster. Yeah. So me and Dave were sitting at the bar at Red Lobster, eating garlic shrimp, and they would only bring it like in a little dish with 5, which that's like 30 seconds of consumption. And so they finally started bringing out sets of 2, like they'll bring 2 orders instead of 1, but they really weren't supposed to. They're supposed to do it 1 order at a time because they're trying to string you out, right? Like they're trying to get you to pay up front for the item, the menu item, but then you don't actually get your money's worth. There's like lots of places have done this. Like it's not like they invented the wheel. I mean, even when you think of like a Olive Garden, when they talk about like unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks, most people will buy that item and then get 1 bowl of soup and 1 order of breadsticks because most people just or maybe they get 1 to go. Maybe they get a second one and then that one ends up going.
The endless part isn't even a factor because you're not
Yeah.
gonna have endless breadsticks. I mean, come on, who's gonna eat fucking
Yeah.
25 breadsticks in one sitting? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And so I think part of it is that apparently people could just really put back some fucking shrimp. Like that's just part. And just the cost, maybe like their operating costs to make the biscuits and the shrimp is higher, and people were consuming more of it. So the math just didn't work. With Buffalo Wild Wings, I'm not sure. I mean, because I think that I think a smart business has already done the math and already figured, look, most people are going to get one serving because we're only going to give them one serving at a time. They're going to get one serving, and then they're going to be excited to start their second serving. And after they start their second serving, they're going to hit the wall. And they're not going to be able to eat anymore. And they're going to be like, hey, I need a box. And some people in their minds will think, well, I got my money's worth because I ate dinner and then I started eating dinner again. But in reality, you actually paid for more than just getting 2 orders. But again, apparently for Red Lobster, it didn't work out. You hate to see it. Well,
Buffalo Wild Wings, they're limiting it. So I was being a little hyperbolic, I guess you could say. So it's every Monday and Wednesday through July 10th is when you can do the boneless wings and fries for $20. $19.99, but it's $20. And on their Instagram page, Buffalo Wild Wings says, please don't bankrupt us. So clearly a joke towards Red Lobster. So,
and it can only be one person at the table.
Right. Yeah. It's limited to one person per order, and it's for dine-in customers only. So if you want to take it to go fuck yourself.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's obvious because you can't keep ordering anyway.
Right.
But again, they're banking on you're going to come in, you're going to sit down, you're going to have some drinks, which they make some money off of you when you do that too. But that's going to fill you up, and you're going to have some fries or whatever. Some really fat fucks will get an appetizer, and then, like I said, you're going to get your first portion, and you're going to chow it down like, oh man, look at me, I'm a competitive eater. And then you're going to have like your second bite of your second portion and be like, oh, I'm full. And in reality, you paid $20 for like $13 worth of food. But then again, this is Buffalo Wild Wings is overpriced as fuck. So I'm actually surprised it's $20. I'm surprised it's not more than that. I don't know, man. Prices are just crazy right now in general. That was something we were talking about this whole last weekend, is that, like, look, dude, we went to the Asian place. We went to the Asian place on Friday night after the Confederate Museum.
Perfect.
And like the average receipt was, oh, you got a soda, which by the way has free refills, and like say chicken lo mein, that's $13. Dude, I spent $14.50 at Taco Bell.
Jeez.
So fuck that. Yeah. So like that was a deal. Like I actually got to eat good food at a sit down restaurant with unlimited refills for like $1 less than fast food. So I don't know.
Panda Express isn't too bad either, price wise. I mean, you can get a plate, like 2 entree and a side for, I think maybe $12, $13. Yeah, it's not that bad. But yeah, Taco Bell, I mean, the fuck.
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, I don't know, but the last time, it's been years since I went to a Buffalo Wild Wings, and I remember thinking then, this is average wings that cost 50% more than the average restaurant. And I'm not a big drinker, so I don't give a shit about drinking and watching sports. I can just sit at home and watch sports. So I'm definitely not. I'm not the kind of person who's going to go there and be like, "Sorry, guys, I call dibs on the endless." That's not going to be me. But again, that's so I mentioned Olive Garden earlier because everybody knows their endless soup salad breadsticks. They also do like stuffed pastas, and they'll do something similar where it'll be like the portions are smaller, but you can pay a certain amount of money and they'll keep bringing you small plates of like stuffed pastas with like the little bitty cups of like Alfredo sauce or whatever. And funny enough, I did that with Dave Benner too. I'm glad. So whoever the hourly struggle is, know who Dave is. So me and Dave Benner in Nashville have done the endless at Olive Garden and the endless at Red Lobster. So if you're wondering why Dave Benner gained 40 pounds, it's because he moved back to Tennessee.
Yeah,
So,
that's
sorry. And B, I'm not going to let you do a racism tonight, Shane, because me and Dave did that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And we're good white folk, and we did it. And only 50% of the restaurants we went to went out of business.
All right.
So, yeah.
Good record.
Actually, we went to the Red Lobster in Antioch, and it actually did legit close.
Oh my God.
They were really nice, though, so I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
Garlic shrimp was pretty dope. So,
well, to go on a completely different realm. So I wanted to, let's see if I can get this up. Let's see.
That's what she said.
I know. I say that every day. No, I'm kidding.
Damn. That's a shame.
Yeah.
You're so young.
All right. So is that even showing? Wow. All right. There we go. Jeez. Anyway, so this guy tweeted the highest speed limit in the United States is 85 miles per hour. Can anyone explain to me why basically every car and truck driven in the US can go faster than that on any public roadway? Freedom is not an acceptable answer. And then he has a follow-up. Why are manufacturers allowed to sell cars that can go way faster than the fastest legal speed? Why aren't speed governors deployed as they are on e-bikes to ensure drivers don't exceed certain speeds? Why aren't drivers who go super fast punished more severely? I mean, they do. Like, if you go faster and you hit somebody, that's it. It's over.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of person who, if you were to say to him, you know, that you don't believe in victimless crime, they would just look at you like you just spoke another language, that you're from another planet. They wouldn't understand the concept that if you've done a thing and it didn't cause harm to anyone else, then you shouldn't actually be shot to death on the sidewalk by the cops for it, or put in prison for 40 years. That's exactly the kind of person right there that, you know, genuinely thinks, oh, if you did something that I wouldn't do or that I don't like, then you should be punished for it. I mean, and even that, it's like, so first of all, of course, obviously we know like the cops and shit go faster than the legal speed all the time. But of course, I'm sure the same person would say, oh, it's fine when they do it. The laws don't apply to them. Well, what if I need to outrun the cops? Well, that's why I have to go fast.
Well, no, what if they're trying to chase someone who's legitimately going extremely fast, like 100 miles an hour on a 75?
This person's exactly the kind of person who thinks that the cops should be able to do it, but every civilian car has to have a speed governor on it that doesn't allow you to go over a certain speed, because that person can never you know what? Actually, I'll take that back. The kind of person that says that is a leftist, and a leftist will say things like, well, they should just put speed governors on all civilian vehicles so they can't go fast. And then the only people who can go fast are like emergency vehicles and police.
Yeah, but he mentioned,
but then that same leftist will then also say, defund the police, they're killing people. It's like, well,
I mean, look, okay, so either this person is legit asking this question, or he's a retard. Like, I don't. It's probably the last one. I'm guessing he's gonna be the latter. But okay,
he sounds like the kind of person who he thinks that if the speed limit's 45, you should go 45, and if someone, you know, if he's going to get into the left lane to pass, and he'll go 46. That's the kind of person he sounds like to me.
Would this person make the perfect slave?
Oh yeah. Absolutely, because the only questions they could possibly ask is why isn't everyone doing what they're told, and why do we allow people freedom to do anything else? It genuinely sounds upset about it. I love the ratio he got though. That's good.
Yeah. Well, apparently he's also past features editor at THR and editor in chief at Bicycling. Well, maybe that's why, because he loves to ride bikes and he gets pissed off all these fucking cars almost hitting him. Which I totally get. I mean, sometimes those bikers need to get the fuck out of the way. So I totally understand his point. You know.
Yeah.
So
fucking people. This is why we can't have nice things.
One more tweet that he added onto this. Just 3 data points. The Nissan Altima can hit 130 miles per hour. A Tesla Model 3 can hit 162 miles per hour. An Audi RS5 can hit 180 miles per hour. I don't know what to say, but what the fuck? I don't know. Maybe they're racing them. What are you going to race in fucking 40 mile an hour car? I mean, come on.
Then don't go that fast. You don't go that fast, and you stay in the. So again, I already know without knowing anything else about this guy that I could go on living with him on the road if I knew he'd stay in the right fucking lane. But this guy gets in the left lane. You know it. You know it.
The first reply is
Yeah,
freedom.
don't say freedom, and the answer is freedom. Yeah.
Like you're just asking yourself for people to say that. Like, why would you even say that? Come on. Sometimes you just like seeing these tweets and like seeing the replies. It's like, come on. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and then it's him defending himself from everyone calling him the biggest fucking pussy who ever lived.
Like, okay, so he's probably doing that too, but just specifically for that, because he wants people to respond, and then he can respond back to them. To, I guess, I don't know. It's engagement farming, which I thought Elon Musk was supposed to ban these accounts.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah,
right.
So that's engagement.
What happened
farming.
to that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think what Elon was trying to say is that we're going to start banning accounts that farm anti-Zionist engagement. That's what he actually meant. He said
that's true. One of his weak points.
Yeah, boy, isn't it?
Well,
so yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, like I said, look, different people go different speeds. Some people go faster than others. Some people are in newer vehicles. Some people are in beaters. But if you're in a beater, or if you want to go right on the speed limit, or if you're like looking for your turn or checking out the prices of gas, just stay in the right lane. That's what it's for. Just stay in the cruise lane.
You don't like this the whole time you're driving. Like, oh wow, look else.
Yeah,
wow, that's pretty cool.
Because that's the thing. You know what we got to do is we really need to start doing a better job ourselves of quit calling them the right lane and the left lane, and make sure we start calling them the cruise lane and the pass lane.
Yeah.
So if you're at a speed where you are not running into the back of someone else, then you stay in the cruise lane. And if someone in front of you, if you're about to hit someone in front of you, then you need to get into the pass lane.
Oh,
that's it.
That's all out of my way.
That's all. Okay.
All right.
The freaking Asian over here is talking about.
We Asians are bad at driving. Do you not know that? I mean, come on. It's a stereotype.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this.
You would think people that were so good at math would get speed, acceleration.
Yeah. Well, they're so good at math that they do it while they're driving, but it's at the detriment of their driving. So they do it at the same time. So think like 2 + 2, blah blah blah, carry to 4, and they hit all these cars in front of them.
You've got a graphing calculator app on your little touch screen.
Yep. We don't listen to music on Spotify. We have a graphic calculator.
Wow.
Yeah.
Neat.
Speaking of travel, something related to that. So this is it's pretty funny. Okay. Spirit Airlines saves, I don't know how true this is, but this person says Spirit Airlines saves $42 million a year by not supplying an electronic in-flight entertainment system for its fleet, which I mean makes sense. That's why the tickets are generally cheaper than most other airlines. But then, of course, you're paying for your carry-on bag and all the other extra shit. According to one industry insider who wishes to remain anonymous, Spirit believes the real entertainment is watching the passengers try to out-drink each other and then attempt to settle their differences with an impromptu boxing match at 30,000 feet. All right. And I bet you can't guess who these people are.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Man, that guy is fucking that guy up.
Stop it. Stop, brother. Oh, hey, no, let him chill. Come on, baby. Come on, let him go. Put my pillow. Put my pillow. Hey, get my pillow. Let's go.
What is this?
Hey, yo. Let's go, Alan. Grab it and go. That's it. That's it. Go. I'm trying to go. Alan, you got it.
Yeah, where's the Burger King man when you need him, says JC. Yeah.
Police are coming on board, and we need to get those to the fight that's happening right now.
Jeez. Well, there you go. I mean, so for those who are just listening, it was basically two.
Such fascinating behavior.
Yeah, it was two black people. They looked black. Maybe they were Hispanic. I have no idea, but they weren't white. We'll just say that they weren't Asian either. Wow. And they were fighting for, I don't know, whatever. I guess one of the black guys said that Drake was better than Kendrick Lamar, and they started fighting. I have no fucking. What do they fight about? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So they're on a Spirit airliner fighting, and then things happen. But hey, it was pretty good entertainment for us, right? That was pretty funny.
Yeah. You know, the interesting thing is when you first pulled that up, here I was thinking to myself, hey, don't you be bad mouthing the budget airliners, because that gives more people affordable opportunities.
That'd be a good name for them, budget airliners.
Well, I mean, it's worked for budget breaks, but you have cheaper alternatives so that more people can travel. But now, the older I get, I don't know. This is like story time with Uncle Alan. Is me being a boomer. Is the older I get, the more I realize that having the cheaper options, it may provide cheaper options for different diverse characters to travel, but it also kind of serves as a neat segregation too.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to travel on a budget, you could go that airline, but you also could spend extra to have the peace of mind of knowing they're on that plane, but you're on this plane.
Yeah. And I mean, we've gone on, budget airlines before, and I guess we weren't lucky enough to see anything like that happen, which, it'd be kind of cool to see people fight. Just not near me. Do it over in the other area of the plane, because I don't want to be bothered. I just want to watch them. Oh, wow, that's pretty. What the heck is going on over there? It's pretty funny. Yeah.
So now it's actually racist to have budget airlines.
How come every single time we do the show, we always, it's probably my fault. It is my fault. We always have some type of racist, quote unquote, racist thing to say on the show.
Well, the thing is,
I think your southernness is starting to bleed into me. Maybe it's always been in me this whole time.
Yeah, it's just it's unlocking your potential. Yeah. You know, the thing is like this week, for instance. So we did a show Wednesday night. We're right back at it. Event's over. We're back to doing the show. And here I am writing the monologue. We had our guest interview. We got our meme of the week and all that stuff. And I'll be damned if there wasn't some Jew jokes in there. And it's not okay. In my defense, I didn't sit down to write the monologue and think to myself, we need some Jew jokes in here. They just happen, you know? That's how I kind of see it on this show. It's like we didn't plan the show around that. It was more that that just kind of happens.
Yeah, and these are really important stories because there's a lot of other things that are happening around the world today, and but more OJ. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm yawning. That's bad.
Yeah, sorry, I'm boring you. I know. I apologize.
That's
My
right.
fault. Yeah.
Well, you're not teaching us more about the Confederacy, so I just quit paying attention. Yeah.
So okay, one last thing before I let you go back in or go into your coma.
Okay.
So this one may actually tickle your Southern feather, I suppose. That's kind of a weird phrase to say.
Wow. Yeah, that's a new one for me.
So okay, Greater Idaho measure passes in 13th Oregon County. So there's a secession plan would shift Oregon's eastern border 200 miles west, and Crook County voters passed the measure at 53%. And I haven't followed this story but I've kind of heard little rumblings that Oregon, so move Oregon's border, Greater Idaho I think it was org. So they want to basically move the border, and because Oregon is getting a little too left leaning, and so they want to change that. So for those who are just listening, the current border, obviously we know what Oregon and Idaho look like, but the proposal is Idaho wants to move west into Oregon and basically just leave Seattle, Portland, Oregon, and like basically that whole area, all the like the western part of Oregon, and then everything else east of that.
Yeah, but Idaho doesn't want to do that. You said Idaho wants to move west. That's not true. Those counties in Oregon want to secede from Oregon.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, sorry, I flipped.
Because my understanding is that the powers that be in Idaho really just don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, sorry, I flipped.
And
whoops.
And the thing, because the state of, so it is true that the state of Oregon is a liberal shithole, and it's predominantly because of Portland.
Yeah.
But they politically don't want to lose ground. Losing population to an Idaho, like if Idaho gains one more representative and Oregon loses just one representative, even just that alone, the damage is done. You've shifted the balance of power a little bit. So it's not so the political elite who like the status quo as it is are not interested in that. They don't want the population to go down and run the risk of losing a House seat if you're Oregon. And Idaho, I mean, with the additional population, they could theoretically gain a House seat, but they're not really dying to take on those counties because it's like, I mean, it's just weird. So, because like, for instance, if you take Tennessee, like if I could just chop Shelby County off, the very bottom left little corner of Tennessee is Shelby County, and there's this city in it called Memphis. And if I could just saw that little bitty corner of Tennessee off and just drop it into the Mississippi River, and just wherever it floats down, you get to have a new county, then Tennessee, which is already a red state, albeit turning purple because of all the foreigners, would swing way back to the right because a huge, like a 1 million person blue city just got dropped off of the state. That would be enormous. I mean, I think something like I think the state of Tennessee, the whole state, only has like 9 million people in it. So like 1/9 of the entire population of the state is just in Memphis, Tennessee, and
Jeez.
they're like 85% Democrat in a state.
Yeah.
So it's so there's something like 96 counties in Tennessee, and 94 of them are deep red, and 4 of them are pretty like almost or equally deep blue, and one of those 4 is Shelby, which is Memphis. So
Well, do you know if, who, I don't know who the governor is of Tennessee, but do you know if they're actually going to try and do anything to, at the very least, limit all those illegal immigrants to lock into the state? Because I mean, like, if you're continuing to have those people go in, that's probably going to be the outcome. Is you're going to lose your power, and then all the people who you don't want power are going to come on in, and then they're going to do what they're going to do.
the problem is the most dangerous illegals we have coming here are from Illinois and California and New York and Michigan and Wisconsin, and so that's what's killing
Oh.
us.
So
Yeah,
they need to
so
stop bringing them.
we
over.
do need to shut down the border, but of course I would prefer that all 50 states are in charge of all of their own individual borders, and you would have to have a passport or visas to go into any other state. That's what I would prefer.
Well, yeah, that'd probably be better than what we're doing now. You can just drive right in.
Yeah. So I mean, dude, you could drive around Columbia and you see so many out of state license plates, and you're like, well, either A, it must be the week of the It's Too Late live event, or B, you're like, this isn't like a huge tourist destination unless it's like Mule Day week, or maybe there could be other stuff going on in the mid-state and people just happen to be staying here just because they need accommodations.
Yeah.
But it's not a huge, like Nashville obviously is a huge tourist destination, and it's only 45 minutes north of here. So that's where people are going, not to Columbia. So when you see when you're in traffic and you see dozens and dozens of out-of-state license plates, but you're not in a touristy area, those are all people who have moved from those places and just, they just bought a house or they just rented an apartment. And I've seen people make the argument before that you shouldn't be upset if you see like Californians move to your state, because it's like, well, it's not like the crazy left-wing Californians moved here. They're still in California. It's the conservatives in California who moved here who are fleeing. They're trying to get out of California.
Conservative when it comes to California politics.
Well,
because their conservative could be completely different from Tennessee.
Well, I understand the argument is that whatever word you want to use, if a right winger in California wants to get out of California because it's gone to shit, and so he moves to Tennessee, I get that. It's not like a San Francisco parade walker just moved here. I get that. However,
good term for them too.
That's not the totality of it. So first of all, so you're right. There is some truth to, but they're not culturally us. Even if they identify as right wing, they're not culturally like us, and so they're still muddying the waters. Even if they're not like just card carrying communists, they're still not like me. And 2, that's not all of them. We absolutely are getting a bunch of left wing psychopaths moving here, because the very first thing that happens is they move here, and within a few years, you start to have more activist groups going to city councils and getting involved and saying, we really need this and we really ought to do that, even though no one was clamoring for that before. And now suddenly there's an interest group that has formed clamoring for some change. And all of those inevitably lead to like increased taxes. I'll give you the perfect example. So during COVID, most of Tennessee didn't do anything. Of course, it was county mayors were the ones predominantly in charge of like, are we going to lock down? Are we going to enforce mandates? And again, those 94 out of those 98 counties are red, and the overwhelming majority of those were like, well, we're just not going to do any of that stuff. But in the handful of blue places, such as Nashville, Davidson County, that's Nashville, They did have more stringent mandates and lockdowns, and they had tried to enforce them and actually go after people and stuff. And it's because Nashville has been just absolutely flooded with out-of-towners that are left-wing politically. And you know what? They actually fought to hurt their neighbors and to destroy native Tennesseans and to shut their businesses down because you need to do what the people on TV tell you. And so they did. And so that's what happened in Nashville. And you know what happened just 6 months later? They raised the property taxes in Davidson County by 50% in one vote.
Jeez, 50. What?
Congratulations.
50%. You're joking.
You get what you fucking deserve. Unfortunately,
50%.
unfortunately, the people who live there who are not the newcomers who didn't support those policies, they unfortunately have to live with the consequences of those people's actions.
Because now you have to try and get that back to where it was even before that, which is going to be almost impossible.
Yeah, that never happens. You never go back. So Nashville's dead. Like, that's the funny thing. Like, you still have people in and around this area who will talk about, like, oh, I need a tour guide for Nashville. I want to check out Still Learning Nashville. It's like people from here have been done with Nashville for 20 years. Like, I never go to Nashville unless I'm going for a specific concert or something. I never go to Nashville. And the overwhelming majority of the native Tennesseans that I know from here, like, if you said to them, hey, thinking about going to Nashville this weekend, their answer to you would be like, oh, what's going on? Like, they think you have business. Like, oh, are you going, like, you filing some paperwork? Yeah, you go into the state building for something. You need to fill out some documents, or maybe it's like, oh, you going to see a show. If you said to them, nah, I just thought I'd go hang out, they'd look at you like, what? You gay? Like, hey, just stay away from my fucking kids. All right. That's what they would say to you.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care what you do in Nashville behind closed doors. You just stay the fuck away from my family. No, but none of us hang out in Nashville. It's only those yuppie losers and from out of state that hang out. It's particularly Broadway. Oh my God. Broadway is just for people not from here who they think that's what Tennessee is. That's who it's for. We don't hang out at Broadway, Nashville. Are you kidding me? So Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville to a somewhat lesser extent than Memphis and Nashville, and of course it's a college town, UT and all that.
Yeah.
And you've got the mountains nearby, so at least you've got other things very geographically close by that are kind of separate. But the cities, my God. Ugh.
So Jay Forte said, I own a rental property in Davidson. Even with the tornado that year and record revenue, they raised it. It's to pay for the new Titans gay stadium.
Yeah, that's what they're going to call it. It's Gay Stadium in Nashville, home of the Tennessee Titans. Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's why we call them the Tits.
They're always mediocre. You think they're going to get to the playoffs this time, or they reach the playoffs, but they don't go ever.
They're an organization that has no culture of winning, so they will never be good. They went to the Super
Bowl. Oh no, that was in the late 90s. Was it late 90s?
Yeah, dude. That was like 2000 or something.
Yeah,
99.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Still living on the Jeff Fisher years, are we?
Yeah, Jeff Fisher. Let's go. The mediocre offense.
McNair.
Yeah.
Eddie George. Yeah.
Steve McNair was actually not a bad quarterback. He was pretty decent.
He wasn't good. He just wasn't bad.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. Yeah.
And when Steve McNair was towards the end of his career was when Peyton Manning ascended from being like a rookie sophomore QB to the upper echelon.
Yeah.
And so it's like, there was a very brief window in there where two of the best QBs in the league were Steve McNair and Peyton Manning. And then obviously one of those things ended up not being like the other one. And one of those got shot to death in his sleep by his mistress.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that's for a 38th parallel for another day.
Didn't they? I think if I remember correctly, didn't they get co-MVP?
They did one
The
year.
league?
Yeah, they were like co-MVPs one year. Which
Man.
was weird because even then it was like, well, like, you know, Peyton was only like in maybe his like 4th or 5th year, but it was clear that Peyton was better. It was like everybody knew that, yeah, this Peyton guy, he's probably going to be pretty good since he's already winning a
Probably,
league MVP. But I mean, that was like McNair balling out, best statistical year of his career. I mean, you can't take that away from him. I mean, they had a few good years there, but they never made it. The year that they lost the Super Bowl, they should have won the Super Bowl.
Oh man, that's what I was rooting for, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
I mean, to this day, people still talk about the greatest show on turf. The Titans were better than them. They just lost that game, and then they never reached the summit again.
Well, I think the funny thing too is that the Rams won, and then I think it was either the year after. Oh man, I wish I knew the timelines.
The year after they went back to the Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep.
And that was when the Patriots were not that good. It was the reverse. It was the Rams were the clearly better team, and the Patriots were like, how did they even make it to the Super Bowl? They're kind of trash. And this Brady guy's like, he was good for a backup, but you need to put Bledsoe back in the playoffs. And then their kicker was really good, and so they won the Super Bowl.
It's considered like one of the biggest upsets, right?
It's a huge upset. So the year before, the Titans actually should have won. They should have beaten the Rams. And then the year after that, the Rams actually should have won. Well, the Patriots should have lost.
I know another team that should have won against the other team in the Super Bowl, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole anymore.
No, you don't want to. No.
Anyway.
No.
Alan, where can they find It's Too Late with Alan Mosley?
They can watch new episodes as they premiere Wednesday nights at 9:00 Eastern time on Twitch, Twitter. There's Liberty Late Night. Y'all still doing that show over there? Or are y'all done? YouTube,
time
whatever.
Commenting over here, probably not, right?
Just go to Alan Mosley TV. Alan Mosley TV will take you there Wednesday nights 9:00 Eastern time. I guess I can't. I don't know. Maybe if the 6th annual page is still up, I guess you could still buy a ticket. You won't be able to redeem it anywhere. But I mean, I'll take your money.
I can't use that for the next year. Dang it.
Yeah. Don't worry. I already told them later this weekend. I'll go ahead and get the 7th annual page up. I think people will think it's funny that it's actually already up less than a full week.
You have like 8, 9, 10 also up as well. Like, hey, you can come to the one in 2030 if you want.
Well, I'm not putting up one for 2026 because I'll be dead. So someone else will have to. Yeah. Oh, that's actually a gift. So, here, somebody.
Oh, is it gravestone?
Derek actually brought me this. So this is the countdown timer to my death.
Oh, you gotta be serious. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Better get your gravestone ready.
So I've only got 490 days, 1 hour and 45 minutes to live. It's actually weirdly comforting to have this. I have this sitting on the front of my desk looking at me all the time when I'm working.
Isn't that it'd be crazy if it's 0 and like, oh, that was all right. And you just move on with your day.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll probably be in bed. So I'll drift off in my sleep. It'll be fine.
You won't feel a thing.
Yeah. Just like now. Yeah. So anyway, I can't put up the date for the 8th annual because I'll be dead. So whoever is hosting the 8th annual, it'll be the 8th annual It's Too Late Memorial Live event.
Oh, yeah. It'll just be a picture of a gravestone just right there. The show's the gravestone. Nice.
We know how they do. You gotta go to Office Max and you gotta get your 2 by 3, your 2 foot by 3 foot foam board blow up picture of me to sit on the easel outside the doors. The little wreath on there. So I can only do next year's. Next year's is the last one that I'll be in attendance.
Oh man, that's sad.
Yeah. So you guys better make it to next year's because it'll be big awkward for y'all to come the year after that.
Man, I thought Alan was gonna be here. What happened? Where'd he go?
Yeah.
Oh, he's in the ground. Oh, well,
Yeah.
That's where I'll end up. Or in the ocean.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm not going in the ground. They're just gonna toss me overboard. Yeah.
That's a great way to end the show. I'm gonna toss you overboard.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching and listening. Really appreciate it. We're back. Glad that the show went great with no breaks at all. So that's good. And we will see you in the next one, possibly. It will be number 17. Can you believe it? We've done 7. We're going to be doing 17 of these. That's crazy. Can't even believe it.
Too old to be doing 17.